Go.
So that's why he opened.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And thank you for attending our school board meeting. Today is April 28th, 2026. It's 7 p.m. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Elizabeth, roll call, please.
Mr. Pence,
Here.
Mr. Harkins,
Here.
Mr. Hamburger,
Here.
Mr. Karakov,
Here.
Ms. Miles, here, Ms. Weaver, here, Ms. Zimmerman,
Here.
Ms. Fortney.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion made by Lloyd, second by Kim. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried. Can I please have a motion to approve the minutes from the April 13th meeting? April 14th, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. April 14th meeting.
I so move.
Second.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Did Shane second that?
Yes. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried. All right, superintendent report.
Thank you, Mrs. Fortney. WASH has had a extremely successful First Choice Career Conference on April 16th. There was a keynote speaker, District Justice Gomez Shockey. There was panel discussions, breakout sessions, and a college and a career fair. So Dr. McCallum and I both had the opportunity to participate in the breakout sessions, and a big thank you to the WASH's staff who assisted in the planning and preparation, and a huge thank you to our community with the 100+ community business leaders that attended. Emily Lego, third grade teacher from Hooverville Elementary, received a lot of positive feedback from a news article that we ran involving grant money she received, so much so that a community member ended up donating some rakes to help with the outdoor education program. Ms. States and I had the opportunity to present to the Franklin County Children's Roundtable on Monday. Our presentation was well received regarding the successes and challenges here at WASD. Today, the school and van drivers were treated to a luncheon sponsored by our elementary PTOs, and we are extremely thankful for the daily service they provide to our learners. And next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. We will be celebrating all our staff, and a big thank you to the PTOs for sponsoring all the luncheons, as well as the Wayback Foundation will be holding a daily drawing for 5 gift cards to be awarded to various staffs in recognition for their service. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we do have a board statement prepared for you tonight. So good evening, community, administration, student, staff, and family. We know you've all been eagerly waiting for tonight, and I ask that you're respectful as I fully read the statement from the board. We thank you for giving us the time that we needed as a board to be able to review all information and hear all sides. We recognize that the past months have been challenging for our school community. While personnel matters are handled appropriately and respectfully, we also understand the importance of moving forward together in a positive and unified way. Our shared priority remains providing a safe, supportive, and high-quality learning environment for every student. At this time, an agreement has been reached, and Mr. Pappas will be reinstated effective July 1st. 2026 to Summerview Elementary School. The parties are in the process of memorializing the terms of a comprehensive global resolution to the matter. With this resolution, our focus is firmly on the future, on healing, rebuilding trust, and strengthening the relationship that makes our school the place that we truly love. We'd like to create an opportunity to sit down with our teachers and truly listen as a school board. We want to better understand your experiences, hear your thoughts, and learn how we can better support you and our schools. We are committed to maintaining a respectful and professional environment where all voices are valued and we will work together as one school community. We are first choice, we are borough strong, and we need to find that again. We hope that this is the first step in being the WISD that we love and care about. Thank you all. So now we're all right. So now moving on to public comment. We'll start with number 1. I always butcher your name and I'm so sorry. Chandra Craft.
Yes.
Is that right, Chandra? Okay.
Chandra Craft, 8441 Anthony Highway. I've addressed the board a few times in the past couple of months, asking for accountability and change. I see now that I have an opportunity to effect that change. I am a resident of Quincy and I am applying for the board vacancy. The links in the application and financial form on the PDF are dead. So as soon as that is resolved, I will send you the required documents. And thank you, and I appreciate all your support.
Thank you. We'll get those updated and let you know. Allie Bailey.
Good evening. My name is Allison Bailey. I live at 344 Clayton Avenue in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I had some things prepared to say that I feel are obsolete. Thankfully obsolete at this moment because I was in the restroom and I didn't realize that Mr. Pappas was reinstated. So I'm just going to say a huge thank you to everyone who voted to do that. I think it was absolutely the right thing to do. I think that the community really, really appreciates that. I think that that is a huge, massive step in restoring integrity, trust with all of us. I literally have chills. I'm so happy right now for our community. It's such a relief. I'm happy for the Pappas family. I did want to point out, I sent multiple emails to board members, probably 5 or 6 over the course of this entire process. And I only heard back from 5 of you in responses. I know Clint responded to me, Rachel responded to me, Brad responded to me, Lindsay responded to me, and Shane responded to me. I never heard from anybody else. I understand you get lots and lots of emails, but I personally felt that I wasn't sure that my emails were being read. So even the brief acknowledgement, like one email, Shane said, "Hey, thanks for sending an email." That's all it takes. So it really sends a huge message to the community board members when you just give us that short, small acknowledgement that you read. It shows us that you're invested. You are sitting in a really powerful, important position. So I just wanted to say thank you to those that did take the time to do that. But what I had prepared here to say, I don't need to say. So thank you so much to everybody and congratulations to the Pappas family. Well deserved.
Ashley Wilburn.
I think probably a lot of the public comments you were planning on getting today are probably a little bit changed. But I, like Chandra, I live in the township. I will be running for school board next election cycle because I think this experience has opened my eyes that, you know, there's a lot of things that need community support. And just standing up here and giving public comment while helpful and all of that is not always the best way to affect change. So hopefully I will be seeing y'all in 2027 because I still think that there's a lot of work to do, but I thank you guys for the work that you have done. And I do hope that we can move forward, but I still think that there is a lot of work left to do. So The Support Pappas page won't be going away. It'll just be changing its name.
Thank you. Michelle McCarty.
Good evening. Like the rest of them, Michelle McCarty, 149 South Phillips, Waynesboro. My speech has changed. First thing I want to do is thank those that are going to run for the board. Secondly, I want to thank you guys for doing the right thing. I think as a community, we all know the right thing needed to be done. And I appreciate each of you that made that decision. This has not been easy on the community, and I'm sure it has not been easy on him. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. John Copley.
Hey, good evening. My name is John Copley. I live at 219 South Broad Street here in Waynesboro. It's about a 5-minute walk from this building. I've spoken to you all once before about my concerns with the way the district is choosing to spend taxpayer dollars. And after the excellent presentation 2 weeks ago by Dr. Holzman outlining the current financial state of the district and the $500,000 deficient in the current budget, I wanted to take a few minutes to raise my concerns again. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer on the current celebration over Mr. Pappas' reinstatement, but I do feel like some of the things I have to say are still pretty relevant. So many years ago, as a freshman in college, my philosophy 101 professor began his first class by saying something that has stuck with me ever since. Integrity is everything. Meaning that regardless of what moral philosophy you choose to follow, and I do think there are some that are better than others, if you don't have the character and honesty to stand up for what you believe and say that right is right all the time and wrong is wrong all the time, then your beliefs are worthless. As I mentioned back in February, my wife and I have lived in Waynesboro for a little less than 5 years, and I live and pay taxes in the Summit View Elementary School District. We have a young daughter who will attend Summit View when she's old enough if we choose to send her. I started watching and then attending these school board meetings to learn more about the Waynesboro school system and to get an idea of what we'd be getting into if we chose to send our daughter to a public school. So I don't know Mr. Pappas. I've never met him. I don't owe him any loyalty or favors. I don't know very much about the town's politics or who has beef with whom. I'm not part of any of the Facebook groups. I don't know anyone in this room except for one person. I know her because she goes to my church. Nothing to do with these hearings. I don't even know how to buy one of these nice T-shirts. So I had no dog or dog food in this fight, so to speak. What I do know is I'm a homeowner and taxpayer in the Summit View Elementary School District, and I work hard to earn the money that funds the budget that Dr. Holzman shared. Ms. Fortney expressed in a meeting a few months ago a story of her child being upset that she had to attend another school board meeting, and I can sympathize entirely. My daughter frequently cries in the morning and begs me not to go to work and says, stay home and play with me instead, and it's heartbreaking every time. I think every taxpayer in this room with a child understands how hard that is. The trade-off here is that each and every one of us pays a decent percentage of our hard work salaries to the district in the hopes that you all will spend those resources wisely and for the public good, educating and developing the minds of our children in the district. So imagine the anger I feel that between legal fees and the price of having a principal suspended with pay for closing in on a year, the district is closing on spending $300,000 on its efforts to vote Steve Pappas, which thankfully did not go through. And we had to stop and say, what was that done for? For making a joke about cafeteria food? For exercising managerial oversight over how a school's library is run? You know, the charges are absurd, and I think you all knew they're absurd. I'm glad that you voted tonight, or I'm not sure when the vote was done because it was not done publicly. I'm glad that you voted to against it, but any reasonable person could read them and see that they're absurd. It would be comedic if you didn't waste hundreds of thousands of dollars of our money to pursue them. And the fact that all the board members here who were part of the board last year, when the vote to modem was held, all but one of you voted yes is disgraceful. Mr. Pence had the integrity to stand up and say he wasn't going to ruin a man's career over early charges. You know, and those of you who voted to reinstate, I appreciate you having the integrity to admit that you were wrong. And I hope you can take this as an opportunity to decide, you know, that you're going to exercise more strong oversight of the district going forward. I don't want to browbeat you over this, but still, you wasted close to $300,000 of our money, and I can tell you that's not easily earned money. That's not money that I have just sitting around to throw away. Let's talk about other factors impacting the $500,000 budget hole. So I have right here a memorandum of understanding from July 20th, 2022, where a 7th grade teacher in the district who had been credibly accused of allegedly sexually harassing multiple young girls was allowed to retire and was paid over $25,000 in cash and benefits as part of his retirement package. And as part of this MOU, the district agreed to keep the terms of retirement confidential. So let me ask you this. This man was allowed to retire, and as such, because he wasn't fired for cause and, subjected to pension forfeiture, he's being paid out of the pension fund. How many tens of thousands of dollars of our money is being paid to support his lifestyle every single year? School enrollment is down. Of course it is. How on earth do you expect parents like myself to trust your children to your care when you cover up and reward predators and punishment like Mr. Pappas, who had the integrity to stand for children and say this is wrong? I'll note the district gave Pappas no confidentiality agreement or cash payout when they choose to publish the charges against him before his hearing. How can you sit there and hold yourselves to be men and women of integrity, but let that happen? Do you have any shame? So if you want to restore public trust in the district, it needs to start now. Stop wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars on frivolous and petty witch hunts. Stop paying predators for their silence. Start doing what's right, even if it's hard, even if it costs you. That's the only way you're going to rebuild trust. Thank you for having the integrity to Mr. Pappas. I do appreciate all your hard work, and thank you for your time.
Brittany Shu.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brittany Shu. I live on Longwood Drive here in Waynesboro. And I am so excited to actually stand before you guys this evening and kind of introduce an idea that God laid on my heart that I'm hoping will actually become a bi-weekly tradition at the school board meetings. So John 1:5 tells us that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness shall not overcome it. And Romans 12 implores us to live in harmony with one another, not to be prideful or wise in our own sight, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all and live peacefully with one another. The next step for this district to move forward and rise from the ashes of this proverbial dumpster fire is to both call out and extinguish evil and corruption that has been creeping for far too long, but more importantly, recognize and celebrate the men and women who make up this district and deserve to receive praise for the daily difference that they make in our children's lives. Today, I will be sharing the first official Borough Glow report, and I pray that this will help to bring light to the good that is happening in our district. So first, I would like to recognize all of the teachers who have currently been placing our children through PSSA testing. I can speak personally. My daughter has Joanna Allspaw at Maury, and the care and creativity that has gone into making every single day of their testing special has just blown my mind. So from smart cookies to putting your best fruit by the foot forward, these snacks and just everything, I've been so grateful that there are leaders like her there for our children. I received a glow for Emily Lego, which I know that Dr. Sternerheim also spoke about the grant that she had received to purchase child-sized gardening tools that allow students to experience hands-on learning in nature, which is incredible for our district. Another glow that I received, Waynesboro just inducted its first class into its chapter of the French National Honor Society. There were 20 sophomores, juniors, and seniors that were inducted into this class, which is very exciting, new things for our town. So another glow that I received were for Mrs. Sawicki, the high school advisor, and Mrs. Baumgardner, the middle school advisor for the Science Olympiad program. And this parent just wanted to say a huge thank you to those advisors for all that they did. Another glow that I received was for the growing arts programming in Waynesboro School District. So in a time where most theater programs are diminishing and declining, our arts programs are flourishing and have become renowned in the area. So a parent wanted to give a special shout out to Emily Dickey, Claire Martin, Tina Schauberek. If I butcher these, I'm sorry. Ashley Funkhauser, Crystal Ruzica, and a special thanks to the organizational efforts of Dr. Diane McCallum, Dr. Allison Kopko, and Sarah Gordzelski. Another parent wanted to reach out and say a huge thank you to Mr. Fisher and Mr. Kreider for the leadership that they have shown in the FBLA program this season. And then one last parent wanted to reach out and say thank you to Miss Amy Delaney and Mrs. Amy Staub at Hooverville for helping her sweet student go from basically hating school to looking forward to going, because these two women have shown her nothing but kindness and patience. This is what makes Waynesboro School District so special. These employees, these stories, these students, this is where our focus should be. And this is where our resources should be used towards. A simple shift of focus from self-seeking pride to servant leadership will take this district to the next level and allow us to leave a lasting impact and legacy for generations to come. Thank you.
Kathleen Domino.
Kathleen Domino, Weatherstone Drive.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You okay, Robin? I sincerely wish to thank, first of all, the board for Mr. Pappas's reinstatement. I wish that the Globe report would have gone after this one, because unfortunately this is a report that still needs to be given, and it's a heavier tone. Dear Superior Administration and Board, the Concerned Citizens Group has received a number of allegations that require your response, please. We are respectfully directing this to you in writing in addition to public commentary due to inaction on former public and private requests of the board. Allegation number 1, Superior Administration Abuse of Course Edition. I will be emailing all of you a document that is expanded in nature and has requested documentation, and we will also send that as a right to know. The overview is the allegation that a ninth grade AP government class that the Superior Administration are alleged to have added a ninth grade AP government course in which both Dr. Diane McCollum and Dr. Kopko's sons are enrolled without following course edition protocol. Board meetings on January 14th, 2025 include a course selection guide approval, page 67 and 72, indicating H205 AP Government as a redlined item. There is no indication that this course, designed for 11th and 12th graders, was ever discussed or approved as a ninth grade offering until the upcoming 2026-2027 school year. Did somebody want to comment? I hear some rumbling. Yes. No? Okay. The claim suggests that the course was added late in the school year and would not have had adequate time to be reviewed by the Social Studies Department in consideration for the following school year. This course was claimed to have been by teacher recommendation, yet it is purported that no 8th grade faculty member made recommendations or were aware of any course addition. It is also alleged that parental prerequisite override waivers were denied as an option. It is reported that this course is conducted online without a textbook and has not performed well. The course is purported to have the design intention of following a high school level introductory civics class. The petitioner presented the course schedule of 15 other PA districts, citing that none offer a ninth grade AP government class. The petitioner was unable to locate a PA school with any such offering in the ninth grade. Allegation number 2. Failure to safeguard child and reported child abuse / failure to honor mandated reporting. Overview. Multiple Summit View Elementary staff have verified this report. Quote, last school year, a student was being abused at home and the teacher and Mr. Pappas reported it to the state authorities. Then, due to the parent being angry about the authorities showing up, and that parent being friends with the school district resource officer, Gordon, Mr. Pappas was told by Gordon and the superintendents he had to tell Gordon before calling the state authorities so Gordon could give the parent a heads up. Allegation number 3, student data breach. Overview. The allegation claims that last year the district paid thousands of dollars to implement a new math curriculum, which is now under fire for harvesting student data and selling it to third parties. It is additionally alleged that the program was never scientifically researched for its effectiveness. This support documentation was provided, and that is a link that I will send you, which is regarding a lawsuit connected to this issue and the data breach. Allegation number 4. Abuse of authority, false allegations against student. Overview. A mother provided this account as an illustration of our school corruption, not because the family is seeking reparations. During her son's senior year, during her son's senior year, which would have been September to October 2024, is the time frame in which this takes place, there was a threat for a school shooting. WASD found out on a Friday. This son was homesick. Chambersburg and Greencastle districts were also aware and sent alerts to parents about the shooter threat immediately on Friday. The mother picked up her daughter from school on Friday to play it safe. Meanwhile, her son, at home, aware of the situation, posted on Snapchat that there was a shooter threat and encouraged his peers to stay safe. Mr. Lane, of the district police, called the mother to tell the son to take the message down. She did not see the message from Mr. Lane prior to the Waynesboro Police Department, not the district police, the Waynesboro Police Department, showing up at the family's residence. The police said the boy could not return to school. He was being investigated. The boy had a history of being an exemplary student of the month, a good kid. The mother called Dr. Diane McCollum. Diane said it was, quote, fine. The mother said it was not fine. Mr. Lane and Dr. McCollum told the mother that the son needed to take the message down immediately. He did not. He did not agree with their logic and sought to safeguard his friends. On the following Monday, WASD alerted families of the threat. The boy was told that he could return to school. The investigation had concluded. He returned, very uncomfortably. The school then filed disorderly conduct charges against the boy. Mr. Lane and Dr. Diane McCollum advised the boy to plead guilty and accept 6 months of probation for causing chaos and disturbance in the school. The boy went before a district judge on October 31st, 2024, and did not plead guilty. The judge could not believe that the school did this to him. The judge immediately dismissed the case. The family was allegedly informed by Dr. McCollum that the school prosecutes 150 students on average per year within washes through the police and legal system, not through school interdisciplinary. And in this case, if this young man had pleaded guilty, he would have had that on his adult record. That would have been his graduation present. The mother also alleges that Dr. McCollum said that the school bought metal detectors but won't install them because they want the school and students to have, quote, a more free environment. Allegation number 5, ineffective testing and remediation for dyslexia. Overview. Approximately 20% of our population is dyslexic. It is alleged that approximately 20% of the district students have IEPs, with district interest to reduce that number. And the students are not effectively targeted or given appropriate dyslexia remediation options, with most centering on ineffective computer programs. With early detection and remediation, studies show that most kids can be remediated to function with their neurotypical peers by the end of 2nd grade, radically reducing their lifetime disability impact and the cost to the district for much more extensive IEP accommodations and remediation for the entirety of their academic life, if not corrected early. I am not the petitioner, but as a mother of 2 dyslexic children, I will support this petitioner, and I will also say that I have brought opportunities to the board and to the WAM's principal staff. When we came here, we had some very otherwise expensive consulting services that we were donating to the school pro bono, and they did not take advantage of that. Allegation number 6, bus driver inappropriately dismissed, contract canceled. Overview. It is alleged that bus driver Gary Barnhart is no longer employed to drive for our district, and that a local bus line contract was impacted due to the Summit View wheelchair lift malfunction incident. It is claimed that there was no bodily or significant damage, that ample support crew were on the scene, not necessitating Mr. Pappas, that no intentional harm was committed, and that there was no contract to support the disabled student having the resources, Mr. Barnhart had donated his services out of care for special needs students having the resources they most need, regardless of district funding. It is asserted that this event does not warrant disciplinary action or loss of contract. Immediate investigation and appropriate disciplinary measures are requested on all of the above allegations, as well as the following. Allegation number 7, evaluation tampering by Dr. Diane McCollum. Action requested, dismissal from office without severance. Overview. Many petitioners assert that the clerical error explanation provided by Attorney Galtman is faulty on a number of counts, including Galtman's response is inadmissible as evidence as a footnote in closing arguments without any rebuttal testimony during the hearing. The evaluation was altered on November 25th, well outside it was November 21st, 2025, well outside of the appropriate evaluation season as demonstrated by Pappas's previous June evaluation appropriately conducted via interview between assistant superintendent and administrator. Pappas was issued a letter identifying the failing evaluation prior to the posting of public allegations, though his previous evaluation was proficient prior to being altered. By the way, he was then later served an amended letter that did not include the allegation that he had a failing record, which further supports the idea that that was not an accident. An impaired evaluation is a key prerequisite to demotion. We now know that Mr. Pappas was the target of a premeditated plan to demote him. The error was not immediately corrected, nor was it corrected at the point of addressing the matter in the hearings. All of these items point to clear intention. Allegation number 8.
Just a minute.
Yes.
Your time has been up for a few.
I do appreciate that. This is the last allegation. If I may request an extension, given that I'm speaking on behalf of a large number
You
of
have
people,
one
not
more.
one. I appreciate it. Just one more. I very much appreciate it. I do. Thank you. Okay. Allegation number 8, final allegation. Addition of discriminatory clause to Act 93 contract for Mr. Pappas. Action requested, dismissal from office without severance, and affected board members replaced. Overview. The petitioners allege that all parties who conspired to alter Mr. Pappas's Act 93 term of employment mid-contract, not in keeping with the standards known to the Principals Association, and adding intentionally exclusive conditions meant to render Mr. Pappas ineligible to hold the position of principal if not able to participate in restraint training, while having full awareness that Mr. Pappas sustained permanent injuries on duty as a principal on 2 occasions, necessitating student restraint, and he can no longer push, pull, or lift. The offending parties include Dr. Rita Sterner-Hein, Dr. Diane McCollum, Mark Klink, Megan McGuire, and any applicable additional participants along with the Personnel Committee, including current board members Rachel Fortney and Linda Zimmerman. These parties knowingly conspired and campaigned to demote Mr. Pappas from office without founded cause. I'm sorry, there is one more. I'm sorry. There's a misnumbering. Allegation number 9, District Solicitor Carl Beard has failed to perform his duty to the district. Action requested, dismissal from office without severance. It is observed that Solicitor Beard failed to appropriately educate and protect the district and board to adhere with laws and protocols, and has rather engaged in a self-profiting and unnecessary over-involvement of district affairs, excessive board attendance, and unnecessary travel expense when virtual attendance is an option. Elongating proceedings and evading responsibility rather than encouraging accountability and prompt disciplinary measures and legal protocol adherence throughout the Pappas proceedings and beyond. It is alleged that he failed to adequately and comprehensively answer appropriate board questions. I appreciate your prompt response on these matters. We have a vested interest in reducing and eliminating unnecessary legal costs and proceedings for all involved and advocate for reasonable mediation and resolution, all within the purview and control of the board. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the presentation portion of our meeting, we will have the Inspire presentation. We will not be having the WASH's student Rotary four-way test winner this evening.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity for us to present Inspire information. We're just going to provide you with a little bit of history, how the process works as far as students getting in Inspire, and just some student testimonials at the same time. So I'm Stephanie States, Director of Student Support Services for the district, and joining me this evening is Megan McGuire, Principal at Fairview. Brooke and Paul are both from Laurel Life, and we appreciate their support in being with us this evening. So this particular statement was actually given to the board, I think back in during the 2019-2020 school year, when we were looking at starting an Inspire or transitional classrooms in the district. I think that it is very relevant for today. And so we just decided to bring this to the forefront again today, just for you guys to see, as we look at first choice, how we can work with our learners and what their first choice is, even though, they have some learning issues, or maybe have experienced some traumatic events in their life. So, but, we want all of our students to be able to learn. And so we're going to explain how we reach these kids. So the program started here in the district in the 1920 school year. We opened with a 3rd through 5th grade classroom at Fairview Elementary, supporting all 4 elementary schools, and a 6th through 8th grade classroom at the middle school. And at that time, we immediately just began supporting our students with the most significant needs. In 2021, we continued with those 2 classes, but we also quickly realized the need for expanded options. Specifically, we were looking at wanting to provide support earlier to our K-2 learners so that they were learning some of those self-regulation skills and coping strategies at the same time that they were learning how to do school as primary learners. We also wanted to support our high school learners more intentionally as they worked towards successful graduation and their post-graduation goals. So in August of 21, we opened the year with a 9th through 12th grade classroom at Washes, while continuing the 3rd through 5th and 6th through 8th grade classrooms at Fairview and Williams. In February of 22, we opened the K-2 room to begin to support those early learners in the 3rd trimester of the year. By the start of the 22-23 school year, we were offering the full continuum of K-12 classrooms, 4 classrooms across our 3 buildings, supporting the mental health needs of our students. As we have continued from 2023 to now, we have noticed several different things with our programming. We have truly come to realize that these classrooms are providing support for more than just the learners who are in the programs. The therapists are able to provide some additional targeted support to learners who are outside of the program to help fill the mental health gap that we have in our schools and our community at large. They're also able to provide training for our teachers and staff, both formally through some of our in-service days. Paul has presented several times to our teams, and informally through collaboration, observation, and brainstorming sessions and modeling for our staff. The benefits to our community don't stop with our kids. The teams are able to also support the families while they support the children that are in the classroom, providing that comprehensive support that is often lacking. Overall, this program has done incredible things to increase our K-12 capacity to support learners who have experienced or are currently experiencing trauma, both by providing those intensive classrooms and by growing our WASD staff in trauma-informed practices. So we wonder, what is it like to be in Inspire? So we thought, instead of us telling you, we have some quotes from some of the kids. So I'm not going to read them to you. You can read some of them. You can probably tell some of them are our littles, whereas some of them are some of our older kids. I like everything about Inspire is one of my favorites, that it's from one of our little kids. But they may not know what it is that they like, but they're all sensing that they're more supported in that environment. Comparing the program, we do have emotional support in our district as well as the trauma-informed classrooms. And so often the question is, what's the difference between these 2 programs? Both of the models are rooted in research and brain science, but they're approaching learners and learning differently. In our emotional support and general education classrooms, we use applied behavioral analysis, where we work to identify the function of the behavior. And you can see those 4 common functions that we look at: sensory, escape, attention, and tangible. Then we implement a research-based intervention attached to that function specifically to help shape the desired behaviors in our classrooms. In the Inspire classrooms, we start from the initial assumption that trauma is the function of the behavior, and they use the ARC framework that you can see up there, the Attachment, Regulation, and Competency framework, to support them. This model is trauma-informed and rooted in science that specifically considers the impact of trauma on the brain development, which is something that Paul is going to touch on in a little bit. Many of the learners benefit from both of these models at some point during their school careers, but it's a matter of determining which is the greater need or better approach at a specific time in our district. As we've gotten more strategic with this, we have seen even greater success for all of our learners.
Sorry, I was out of order here. So what does it look like? How does a student get into the Inspire classroom? So we do have a referral process. It's basically, we work with the administration. So when the administrators or the MTSS coordinator, they feel that there's a student that that is experiencing trauma, they bring that student, they bring that student's name to my attention. And the referral process, it's a Google form that we have. They complete the ACEs, which is the adverse childhood experiences, and it's basically 10 questions, and it's yes or no. And so if the more yeses they have on that worksheet, basically it is higher the amount of trauma that student has experienced. Also, that is an indicator of some experiences, difficulty they may have on down the road in as an adult. There are some other things that we look at. We look at grades, we look at attendance, we look at discipline. And basically, once that information comes in, then there is myself and Laurel Life, it's either Brooke or Tiffany, who is also here with us. They are the overseer supervisors of the Inspire class. We get together and collaborate on, will this student be a good fit? Can we meet this student's needs in the Inspire classroom? Following that, if we agree that student is a good fit, there's an intake process that takes place. So in the classroom, the behavior therapist meets with the parents. We seek their permission, there are permission forms signed, there's questionnaires that are asked, and then that student then is integrated into the Inspire classroom. And I'm going to stop there and let Paul. Yeah.
I'm responsible for the educational piece tonight. So I'm going to turn my 3-hour lecture into a 3-minute lecture so we can do this together. So a little bit of background on what we're talking about with some of this trauma in the brain science and how that impacts the adversity and the behaviors of our kids. So really quickly, if you look up there and you see those green gears, we're going to call that the amygdala and our kind of emotional response brain. So think of famous Disney movie, Inside Out 1 and 2, right? That's kind of what's cooking in there, okay? What happens is that is always on alert, and a lot of our learners that come in are bringing what we call in carrying behaviors, right? So they come in and maybe something's happened on the way to school, before school, during school, after school, whatever. They're bringing that into our classrooms, and they're already kind of heightened and alerted, right? What happens to them then is they might get another thing or bring those kinds of things into that classroom and have a response in the body. What we call that response is the HPA axis. It's not important, but it pumps up that cortisol or your stress hormone in your body. It happens in like 600 milliseconds. It just goes, and you kind of respond to that perceived or real threat that you think. So a lot of times during this thing, especially little kids, they have a really hard time regulating those emotions, regulating their bodies, doing those kinds of things. So our number one goal using our ARC model is to teach those kids, hey, I'm starting to feel a little tingly maybe, right? And I'm getting to the point where I might act out, or just to buy us some time for them to take deep breaths, use different coping mechanisms, new skills. And what will happen then, start getting that out of control, then we're going to start seeing that academic performance increase. So that's kind of the fastest way I could possibly do that. And I'll turn it, I got another one. I know, right? Thank you. So some of these brain that we're talking about, so I just look at that list, right? So when we're sort of in that high cortisol, toxic stress sort of things that are happening, do all of those things look important to be successful in school? I would say yes. And when we're kind of in that high levels of cortisol all the time, our brains are kind of in our downstairs brain, and we have really hard times managing these things up there. So language, expressing words for feelings, empathy, impulse control, mood regulation, short-term memory, capacity for joy, all those kinds of things will be impacted by those high levels of stress. So there's my 3 minutes of my 6-hour lecture. So
Okay, well, mine's not as fun. Uh-huh.
All right, good.
So I am going to be talking about what the meat and bones of our classroom is in regards to, we'll start with elementary. So we have 2 classrooms in elementary, as Megan kind of touched on. We have our K through 2, and then we have our 3 through 5. With that, we have a team of 6. So we have a teacher and a behavior coach in each classroom, and then we have a therapist, and we have a transition coordinator. We have a transition coordinator in elementary because we have so many different buildings in elementary. So when we do have students transition, which is the goal, our transition coordinator will go with those students to help them be more successful getting back into their classrooms. When you look at high school and middle school, we have 1 classroom and 1 therapy room. We have 3 staff, a behavior coach, a teacher, and a therapist. We have our therapist, since there's only 1 therapy room there, kind of also lean more into the building at the high school here. So they can help a lot with check-ins. And I think Megan also touched on that. So we'll have students throughout the building who might have a need due to trauma, but maybe not have a need to quite be in the Inspire program. So with that, they'll just come up for check-ins. So elementary, we have serviced about 60-ish learners since the year of 21-22. With elementary, it typically takes about a year and a half for a kid to start transitioning because they are so little. They do have issues with regulating their emotions, and we start off pretty slow. So that can look like maybe going out for a homeroom. It can look like maybe going to a special or a subject that they're comfortable with. And as I mentioned prior, that's where the transition coordinator will jump in there and help them and kind of coordinate with that building or with the teacher just to help make sure that everyone's on the same page. With our middle school, we have serviced about 70-ish students. Middle school and secondary in general looks a little bit different because they're not coming in usually as full-time students. We like to start our secondary kids at least out for something, but it does make the transition go a little bit faster. So we do typically transition more students when it comes to our secondary just because it is kind of a faster process, or we'll sometimes just get them for a class period just so that they can have that check-in and that safe space to come to. And then as far as high school, we have serviced about 80 students. But like I said, we do a lot of check-ins as well. So with that, we also do groups that aren't even within our Inspire group. Our therapist there will also run groups for students in the district who might have a need for that as well. So that number is the students that we have within our actual Inspire program, but we actually touch a lot more students, which is the beauty of transition and being in the building and being able to have that therapist that you can just use freely throughout any of our buildings. Our therapist in the high school is actually specialized in grief. So she has helped out also when we've had some deaths within the district, not only to help the students, but to help the staff. So that's a nice add-on for her as well.
So you're going to see a couple of quotes throughout the program coming from the Fairview teachers. That's because they are pretty vocal about how passionate they are about what this program has done for our kids. Because it is housed at Fairview Elementary, they have that day-to-day exposure to seeing some of the turnaround. So I'm not going to, again, read the quote to you word for word up here, but the summation is that they're very excited that these kiddos are able to get the support that they need within our district instead of having to go outside of the district to get that more intensive support. And they're able to meet with some success. So Brooke touched on it lightly on what does it look like to leave Inspire. So we're going to kind of go into that process a little bit here, talking about what transition looks like as they start to come out. As we said, the students are coming at the elementary level. They're coming from all 4 buildings. So every building has the opportunity to refer, and we look for placement for any of those students who are needing that. When the learners at the elementary level are starting to show more consistent demonstration of those skills and strategies that they need to be successful, the team starts planning the transition back to their home school. So they don't transition into Fairview even though the classroom is there unless they are a Fairview student. We look to get them back into their home school. The Inspire team works with the building team to map out the transition. Each transition is 13 unique steps at the elementary school, and they're constantly building. We like to start from either the beginning of the day and add on, or the end of the day and go backwards, because the transition coordinator does actually physically transport those students back to the other building if necessary, if they're not a Fairview student. That transition coordinator also organizes the schedule, transports the child back and forth, and supports both the student and the staff as that child is transitioning. As Brooke mentioned, the transition process at the elementary level is slow on purpose to make sure that we are setting that child up for success as they get fully reintegrated into their classroom. So the transition coordinator starts with sitting right next to them, then they're going to fade to the back, and then they're going to fade to a drop off, and then add another part of the day and keep building that up until we can get to a full day where they are successfully reintegrated with their peers. So it's a very exciting process, and it has definitely happened more and more as we have gotten our process more refined about the students that are going into the program, as well as what it looks like for them to come out. So we'll let Mrs. States talk about secondary transition.
So at the middle school and the high school, it looks a little bit different because the students are, I mean, that's their home building. So there isn't that transition of going back to their home building. It's more of like a flow. Some students are come in and they might be in there just for like a support period. One of the things that we like to do with our secondary students is find a subject that they're interested in, or maybe it's an elective that they're interested in. Maybe it's cooking class, or maybe they're really good in math. We've tried to find a subject that they are willing or would like to learn about, and they have an interest in, and that's where we start to build their day. So they might be an Inspire for 2 blocks, but maybe go out for a block and then come back and get that support. Some kids are out in like in the general education environment all day, but they come back in for like that support period or the PLT that the high school has, or at the end of the day, Braves block at the middle school. It's customized for the individual student. Progress is monitored, and then their day is tailored based upon their individual needs, which I think is really really awesome for our kids, because it's based upon what their individual needs are. It's not okay, here's you're in this program and you're there all day. It's really based upon their individual needs. So looking back over the past 4 or 5 years, you can see that the graduation rate for easy for me to say, for the students, we've had 15 students that have graduated. Now, when you look at Waynesboro, how many students do we graduate a year? That's not really a big number, but for some of these families and some of these individuals, they might be the only student in that family, or they might be the only student in that, for a generation in a family. And so that's huge. And none of that would be possible for those students to graduate without the support of the Inspire staff. And so we're very grateful for that. And, I just think that that's a testament to what they offer, and us partnering with them, what we can offer to those students. We'll just leave you with one final quote. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions? All right, moving on to board initiatives. Student board report. Zoe and Zach.
Hello. So first, the Waynesboro Olympics are taking place this Thursday at the high school, and high school students have had the opportunity to volunteer to be buddies, event assistants. They can, I think, paint faces and hand out food and so many different options. The spring band concert will take place this Thursday at the high school at 7 p.m. and the choir concert will take place next Thursday, the 7th at 7 p.m. 21 students, myself included, were inducted to French National Honor Society 2 weeks ago, and they have a lot planned for next school year. Right now, the class of 2027 Executive Council is running a promposal competition. Whoever does the best promposal will win 2 free prom tickets for prom on Saturday, May 16th.
All right, so today was the last track meet against Greencastle. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the student athletes who competed for our school and represented our school in a great manner this year. Just a quick shout out to them. They did super well. I think we have one of the best student athletes. Our GPAs are outstanding. I just want to give a quick shout out to them. So great job to them. And then Waynesboro FBLA successfully competed up in states at Hershey. They did really well representing our school up there, and congratulations to them. AP testing has started, and it will start on Monday. That's for the advanced placement students, and that's to hopefully get college credits for them. And then NHS recommendations have gone out. Congratulations to all those who have been recommended. I hope you guys get it.
All right, moving on to board reports. Just a reminder, these meetings are open to the public except for personnel and discipline. So policy committee, Mr. Pence.
Policy committee met last Thursday, April 23rd. We reviewed 3 policies: 001, name and classification, 246, which is the wellness policy that's been going around here for the last few months, and 006 meetings. They're up for first reading. I can share the details during that time.
Academic committee, Ms. Miles.
Academic committee met today at 1:30. We talked a lot about homework across the district and differences in the elementary and the middle school and the high school. Opinions about homework are all over the place. You've got parents saying we don't give enough. We've got parents saying we get too much. I can't make it happy, but the goal is not to have the students spending an hour every night on homework. We briefly talked about the wellness committee meeting follow-up because part of the wellness policy has in it about recess times and what we're allowed to have and not allowed. And the wellness policy is a first reading tonight. We went over enrollment updates, elementary, middle school. Middle school has been pretty consistent. Elementary, the schools are kind of all over the place. And at this point in time, some of the elementary schools get more enrollment later in the year, like August. Fairview seems to get a lot more kids, enrolling in August. And then we also briefly discussed cell phone usage. As everybody is aware that there's a bill in the Pennsylvania legislature. Survey had been sent out to parents and faculty with some responses so far, but there was no deadline, I don't think, on when the responses were to come back. Is that true, Dr. McCallum? So we may get more responses to your cell phone survey. Our next academic meeting is Tuesday, May 12th at 10:30 in the morning.
Facilities and budget. Ready? The report. Sorry.
Well, we have about 150 pages here. We are working on it. We're trying to find savings. It's very difficult. This school budgets are a heck of a lot different than borough budgets. I'll tell you that right now. Most of the costs we have in the budget are not controllable because they're mandated by the state. But but we're working on it. We have, what was it, the 7th is our next meeting?
Yes, sir. 6 p.m.
And it's a public meeting. We welcome everyone to come. 5:30.
6.
Right.
Huh? I'm sorry, we modified that to 6 p.m.
6? Okay.
Yes, sir.
6, right here in Riverside.
All right, Personnel Committee, Ms. Zimmerman?
Not
No
me,
meetings.
no.
All right, moving on to business. Personnel, Dr. McCallum.
Thank you. Directing your attention to what's in board docs. We have resignations of support staff, reassignment of support staff, and then looking forward to the 2026-27 school year, we have reassignments of professional staff. Continuing with this school year, appointments for support staff, substitute support staff, classroom monitors, game personnel. For the summer, we have approval of summer meal program staff. And we also have approval of one professional staff member for the 2026-27 school year and one request for leave. We're recommending approval of the personnel as listed.
Can I have a motion to approve the personnel items as listed?
Move to approve. Second.
All right, motion made by Kim, second by Linda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Resignation of Patricia Straight. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I just want to recognize that we did have a resignation of Patty Strite, so there's a process. I apologize if the links are not active. I will have Mrs. Hennicle work on that. So we are accepting applications for a board member. The term would be effective hopefully May 26th till November 2027. So we want to thank Patty for her years of service and wish her the very best.
Can I have a motion to approve the resignation of Patricia Straight?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Lloyd, second by Shane. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Any abstained? All right, motion carried. Election of treasurer.
So to clarify, Patty had held the position as treasurer for the Waynesboro Area School District Board, so we will need to elect a new board treasurer.
So I am going to open the floor for nominations for a board treasurer. Do you have any?
Lindsay Weaver.
Second.
Third.
Okay.
Find someone who wants to take it.
So motion made by Clint, second by Brad, third by Lloyd, to nominate Lindsay as the board treasurer. So any questions?
Actually, I just read that the secretary and the treasurer will no longer be board members in the near future. And I don't know that date.
That is correct. So because we, just in policy, we move from the third class to a second class district, because of our size, we will no longer have board members serve in those capacities. But until that PSBA policy becomes effective, my recommendation was to go ahead and continue with a secretary and a treasurer. Moving forward, though, once that policy, it's on for first reading, once it's second reading and then goes through the PSBA process, then what we'll have to do is come back and that individual would be a member of the administrative team to serve in that capacity based on the size of our district.
Just to clarify, is that a function of the school code?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and ironically, we probably should have transitioned to the second district a while ago. So it was one of those oversights. So we will be transitioning. Again, it's in name only.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried. All right, student waiver, Dr. McCallum.
Thank you. We are requesting approval of one student waiver this evening. I had shared confidential details about that with the board in the Friday folder.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the student waiver as listed?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Kim, second by Brad. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried. WASD pre-K, Dr. Sternerheim.
Thank you, Mrs. Portney. So, I believe Dr. Vincent Ondeco is in the audience. If we have any additional questions, but the recommendation, the motion to approve is that the pre-K counts program for 1.6 million grant, will be under the umbrella of, would move from the umbrella of First Start Partnerships to WASD.
So can I have a motion to approve the WASD pre-K counts as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Shane, second by Lloyd. Any questions for Dr. Vincent Ondeco or Dr. Sternerheim?
Hey, Rachel, I don't have a question, but are we able to read the email that we got as a part of I mean, I'll do it. I don't mind, but is that okay?
The one with the questions?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Okay, wait, maybe I should be more
May I-
specific.
Can I
The-
clarify something real quick?
Sure.
I believe Dr. Vincent Ondeco responded to those email questions.
No, I wasn't, I think I wasn't clear. The email that we got as a board for the person that wanted to give a comment.
That's the one we.
Yeah, but can I read what she wanted to say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Read.
Let me pull it up.
Oh, you're good.
It's about collaboration.
Okay, so this email was forwarded to us from Christina Whitlock. Hopefully I'm saying that right. She says, I'm writing with the importance of collaboration and partnership between the Waynesboro Area School District and the child care centers within our community. As discussions continue regarding the expansion of restructuring of the pre-K program, I believe it is important to ensure that local child care providers are not left out in the process, but instead are included as partners in supporting our youngest learners. It has been stated that Early Learning Center and district-based classrooms, including those at the high school, are currently the primary locations involved in these programs. I would like to encourage the district to consider why other child care centers in the community have not been included in similar opportunities and whether there is a pathway for broader participation moving forward. Many of these centers already service children who will eventually transition to the Waynesboro Area School District. Because of that, there is a natural connection and shared responsibility in early childhood education that could be strengthened through collaboration rather than separation. I would also like to encourage the district to consider how resources, support, and programming, including classroom materials, technology could be shared more adequately across multiple learning centers rather than be concentrated in one location. A more inclusive approach could strengthen consistency in early education experiences for children across our community. Additionally, I believe it is important to evaluate these decisions impact the sustainability of local childcare providers. These centers are already facing staffing and financial challenges, and they play a critical role in serving working families. If enrollment shifts significantly due to district expansion, it is important to consider how we can support, not unintentionally weaken, these essential community partners. Ultimately, all children in these programs become future students of the Waynesboro Area School District. Because of that, I believe it is an opportunity here that we build strong partnerships with local child care providers. Rather than creating separate systems, collaboration could benefit families, strengthen early learning, and support community for children as they transition to a school district. I encourage the board to explore ways to work alongside community child care centers so that we are all supporting the same goal, the success of every child in Waynesboro. So again, this is a public comment that Christina Whitlock wanted to say, but she wasn't able to attend because of her work schedule. So I just wanted to make sure we're all aware of that.
Dr. Vincent Ondeco, would you like to speak to any of those points? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you could. Yep.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you guys. So this is like my third time up here in the past couple of weeks. So it's great to see everyone. So thank you so much. So thank you, Lindsay, for reading that comment. So I read that email. I know Chris, I've worked with her before as well. In responding and reflecting on her email, this past week, I literally was at 5 different preschools for outreach efforts. So Mike and John, you're our little ones go to the same preschool. So I was toting our little busy bags. So the busy bags that I brought in that day. So all of my work and outreach efforts, it's with our local preschools in mind. And my motto is our little ones in preschools become our little ones in WASD so quickly. So I have immense respect for our local preschools. I'm out there all the time. I talk with our local preschool directors constantly. Out of my $300,000 in grants, so much of that is based on buying materials for our local preschools. So I've bought second step materials for everyone who wants it. We have handwriting without tears. So a lot of my work, it's curricular alignment between the preschools and our elementary schools. So anytime our preschools need anything, I feel like Oprah because I find a grant, I write the grant with a lot of passion. And need, and then I'm able to get those materials and bring them out to the school. So I have this little pink cart that I just cart everywhere. So I stuff my car filled with materials and I bring it out to the preschool. So I'm so sorry that Chris feels that way, and I can absolutely chat with her more. I think with this possible expansion, my motto is I don't want a wait list. So I don't want kiddos on my wait list. So we'll utilize our enrollment team to help kiddos who don't qualify for our program, or who, if we fill all of our spots, to help those kiddos get into our incredible local preschools. So I've personally talked to every single preschool that's within Waynesboro, that's like one of our major ones, and I've talked with every single director to let them know that. So I love to think I have great relationships with them, bring a ton of resources their way, listen to their needs, and always try to figure out how can we help to support them. So that would be my comment for Chris, but I'll definitely reach out. If she has any other questions, she can reach out to me, but we appreciate our local preschools so much. And like I said, so much of my $300,000 that I have in grants is specifically geared to purchasing materials for our families and for our local preschools. So I think this expansion will just help those efforts to make all of early learning stronger in Waynesboro.
So if other preschools in the community in the future want to become a
I'm so sorry.
pre-K classroom, so if other preschools in the area want to become preschool classrooms under this grant, is that a possibility?
Yeah, just reach out to me. Yeah. So I think it was brought up about a couple other local preschools. We have a lot of great preschools in Waynesboro. So I think for sure, if someone wants to be considered, to reach out to me. It is quite the process. But yeah, if there is interest, absolutely let me know, and then we'll start to evaluate that.
And there's been some question of how the teachers would be hired, I guess, would they all necessarily come from the existing staff? There's possibility of people moving from the school district to those, well, if be part of the school district to those positions. Just, and if you can clarify, how do you see staff being?
Yeah, so I can speak to it, and Dr. Sternerheim, if you have anything to add. So I think for us, when I look at our program is successful because of our teachers. So our families are happy, our students are happy, they do great. So our program, what we have is so special because our teachers are fantastic and they work so well together. So I know in meetings we've had, we're able to consider those teachers internal. So it makes it a much smoother, easier transition. So that would help with the openings. When it comes to our openings, so we currently have 5 lead teachers and 5 assistant teachers. With the expansion, we would have 6 lead teachers and 6 assistant teachers. So that opens up 1 brand new position. So I think when we think strategically about internal moves within our district, we have that flexibility of 1 additional new teacher that we will need to hire. So I'm not HR, so I can't, speak with anything guaranteed, but that's just my understanding, that we would have our teachers now, our internal teachers, and then we would have that 1 brand new position to open up as well. So I'm not sure, Shane, if that answers what you're asking with enough clarity. I don't know if I can, if there's anyone else with more specificity.
Anything to add?
No, I mean, I think essentially what we would have to do pending board approval, then we would have to post the positions. As I have indicated that even though pre-K counts was run under First Start Partnerships, we will essentially treat them as internal applicants. So they would be allowed to apply first, go through the interview process. At this point, Dr. Vincent Ondeco, is fully supporting the teachers who are in place. Now we could get other applicants. Once we've been able to do the internal, normally when we advertise internally first and then externally, and then from there we'll go through the external process. So our goal at this point is hopefully to retain those teachers and they call them they don't call them para educators. They call
Assistant teachers.
okay.
Yeah.
In those roles, in those positions. I want to clarify because I know we have some individuals here from Waynesboro Learning Center, our learning wealth, early wealth. And so that they're going to continue to operate as is based on the format that had been set up prior. So it doesn't impact that particular entity.
So currently we have how many teachers that are teaching with First Start Partnership in our buildings?
Yep. So we have 5 lead and 5 assistant teachers.
And they're all
then
filled positions currently.
they are correct.
Okay.
Yep. And we also have Robin, who is our like the hub director. So we would keep that same position and hopefully Robin would stay too, because she's absolutely fantastic and she's the glue that keeps that together. Yeah. Any other questions at all? No? Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Nay.
Okay.
Any abstained? Elizabeth?
Oh,
I didn't click.
I didn't click in. Sorry.
I said yay. 5 yays.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to 26-27 school-based access program. Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this is the standard state program. We enter into this contract every year, as what most school districts do as well. This is so that we can receive a partial reimbursement for services that we provide for students who are covered under the medical assistance program. So we pick up some funding back from that, and this is the agreement that we have to really enter into to go through that process with that third-party vendor. Again, it's a standardized contract. We've been doing this for 7, 8, 9 years, as long as they've had the contract in place with the state.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the 26-27 school-based access program as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Lloyd, second by Kim. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Franklin County Children and Youth Agreement 25-26, Dr. Holtzman again? Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, 25-26.
Or 26, 27, yes, ma'am. So this is the, again, another agreement that we have with Franklin County Children and Youth Service. For students that are in foster care programs, we can submit to Franklin County for a partial reimbursement of 50% for those transportation services. Again, this just applies to students that are actually in a official foster care program, where they'll reimburse that funding for us. So.
Can I have a motion to approve the 26-27 agreement with the Franklin County Children and Youth Service for partial reimbursement of transportation
Move to
services?
approve. Second.
Made by Kim, second by Linda. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Moving on to natural gas contracts for 27 through 29. Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. So we have, we enter into what's called a joint purchasing board. This is within the IU. Effectively, it's about 20 to 25 school districts. I can't remember the exact number. Not everybody in the IU participates, but most of them do. And what we do is the idea of that joint purchasing board is to go out and buy many different things. Some of those things include natural gas, electricity, diesel fuel, fuel oil for buildings, paper, pencils, things of that nature. So what we're asking for is approval of contracts. Typically in the energy market side, they're always purchasing portions of what our electricity and natural gas needs will be multiple years into the future. So they look at it when it's advantageous to purchase that need. Typically, they're going to purchase maybe 25% at a time, again, based on pricing and what they see into the future. The issue is that we really need contracts to be updated now that we're looking all the way out into the 27 to 29 time period. So 27 to 28, 28 to 29 school years. We're actually getting ready to purchase into that period a couple years into the future. So it's to our benefit, obviously, to be in that consortium. We get some good expertise through them. And then again, we get to lock in that pricing so we can kind of skip the spikes that you might see. So if they, close the Strait of Hormuz, we don't have to worry about what the cost of electricity is, because we've already purchased that electricity from the past.
Now, this is a fixed price?
So actually, these contracts here are just to allow us to enter into prices. So we don't know what the actual prices will be yet. So correct, right. We have to, so again, we can always say no. If we don't like the pricing, we can always raise our hand and say, no, we don't want to buy electricity at that time, or natural gas in this case here at that time. So we always have flexibility. The committee itself, the Energy Committee, will come out with a recommendation as to what we should purchase with the group. But again, we can always have the right to say no to that and wait at a later point in time if we feel.
And this is just a contract. It's not any cash up front.
No, no cash up front at all. No, they're getting a piece of the actual sales themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve the natural gas contracts with NRG Business Marketing for?
Don't move.
All right.
Second.
Right, motion made by Lloyd, second by Kim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, 26-27 FCCTC budget approval, Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. So this has already been approved by the Joint Operating Committee. That committee, that board is comprised of membership from all of the school districts here in Franklin County. So this is the budget that Joint Operating Committee has already approved. It actually went down a little bit overall. The operating costs went up about 3.1% year over year, but the reason why it's going down is because we don't have a roof and HVAC project in the budget this year. So overall, the cost itself has went down year over year, even though the operating costs went up. And this is what we have in our preliminary budget at this point. That number will change a tiny bit based on the final enrollment. So if we were to go out and look next year, we're not going to see exactly 1292, 451. We'll see something very close to it, though, because they'll pick up the final average daily membership that goes all the way through May and June timeframe. But it'll be very, very close to that number.
Can I have a motion to approve the 26-27 FCCTC budget as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Shane, second by Lloyd. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Board resolution for bond debt, Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. If you remember back in March 10th, the board approved us to go out and work with Public Financial Management as well as Bond Counsel Barley Snyder. And then this is the bond resolution itself, then authorizing us to go ahead and put the bonds out there for our need. Again, as we mentioned, I think in the Friday folder as well as some other communications, that's more than what we actually need, but they have to actually request more as part of this resolution because it gives them flexibility on which years it might be more advantageous or which periods of time it might be more advantageous to go ahead and put more bonds in the market or take less out. So we're still only going to take our need, which is about 8.8 million at the top of my head, will be the actual need. But again, that's why that number looks higher. We're not borrowing 10.5. 10.5 wouldn't actually meet bank qualified requirements, which has to be less than 10 million. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but.
Now, they haven't gone to market yet, right?
They're going to be going very shortly though. Yes. Yeah. They'll be going to very shortly here, probably within the week. And then we will receive the proceeds. I believe they're anticipating either the end of May or the first week in June at this point.
Since the market is a little weird right now.
A little weird. Again, the good news is these are, they're tax exempt bonds. There's always a strong market out there for tax exempt bonds for people that have that need.
He's insured.
Yeah, they're insured. Yeah,
Okay.
they are insured. Not only are they insured, we'll get bond insurance, but also the state has the Intercept Fund.
Right.
So, we're a school district not to make a bond payment. People that are loaning us money know that they can always go to the state and say, a school district did not make a payment and pay their bond, and the state will say, well, go ahead and pay that for you, but then they take it out of your funding, out of your state funding. So that way, and again, anybody knows that they're borrowing Pennsylvania school bonds, they're going to get paid not only if the district doesn't pay, then the state will back up them.
Yeah, this is almost a guaranteed payment. They can't lose it.
Right, effectively, unless the state cannot make payments for some reason, which would be very surprising. Yep. And then the other item, of course, these are callable within 5 years. That's another advantage with bank qualified. So if the rates go down 5 years from now, we can look at refinancing.
And they're done that.
So this is a resolution to approve the general obligation bonds in the maximum principal amount of up to $10,500,000 for capital projects of the school district.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Lloyd, second by Shane. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Does our new treasurer have to sign this?
There will be new.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice try, Lloyd.
I thought I'd get your job.
All right.
There is a downside to being the treasurer, and you do
There-
fine.
Yeah, you do sign a lot. MTS equipment preventative maintenance contract for 26-27. Dr. Holst.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a preventative maintenance contract. It covers about, don't hold me to the number, about 96 pieces of equipment in our cafeterias. And what happens is they'll come out in the summer and they do a preventative maintenance workup on all the equipment. The cost itself covers really that work. If there's additional work, obviously they'll charge us for that work, but what's nice is they're on site when they're doing that. So it makes it a little bit easier and more cost effective. Food service department pays for this. The cost actually is the same from the current year. Surprisingly, the contractor kept the pricing the same. So it's pleased to see that.
So can I have a motion to approve the MTS equipment preventative maintenance contract for 25-26 at a cost of $6,600? Yeah. Thank you.
627. Okay.
At a cost of $6,600.
Second.
Right, motion made by Lloyd, second by Kim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained?
Keep the ovens working.
Motion carried. Stadium Lake Replacement Project, Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So this is a project the district's been talking about for several years now. I think the athletic department has been asking for this since they put turf on the field. But we've been obviously holding out for a while. The advantage of the project is really kind of threefold at this point. One is it's actually over a 25-year lifespan. It's really cost neutral. It uses far less electricity using the LED lights versus the metal halide that we have today. We don't have to rebulb them. It comes with a 25-year warranty. So instead of going up on a crane every 6 or 7 years and changing out bulbs by hand, which is not a fun process for anybody. So we save that time and energy from doing all that work over the next 25 years. Increases safety, obviously. Again, anytime we have somebody 70 and 80 feet up in the air, we're not really happy to do that if we don't have to. So the advantage of the new system is they'll be able to bring those lights back down, and then it's their problem to deal with as a company because, again, it comes with a 25-year warranty. The last one, of course, is the outcome on the field. Really, one of the reasons why we're doing this is that we'll have a much better improvement. Right now, based on our last test, we're doing about 22 foot candles on the field. This one would move it up to about 51 foot candles. It also comes with the advantage of being able to control them pole by pole, things of that nature, timing, and it will also have some side lights that actually hit the concession stands a little bit better because we have some darker areas over in the concession stands a little bit more light in those areas will help out as well. So there's some secondary lights in that area. The reason why we're putting this recommendation forward, we did have 3 different quotes there. This one is $3,000 more, but it came with a 25-year warranty, which is what we really liked. This field actually will be slightly brighter than the other one, which we didn't think that was a significant reason why 40 versus 50 foot candles wasn't a significant issue, but it was really the 25-year warranty that we really thought was a much better benefit for us at the end of the day versus a 10-year. So that was what the other company was offering.
And I will add, I actually believe this will save us more money than we're projecting because I think the cost of electricity is going to exponentially rise faster.
I would agree with me, Mr. Hamburger. I think when I put that cost benefit analysis together, it's probably been a year or two actually. And everything just continues to go up in that field for kilowatt hours. But yeah, certainly we were pretty happy to see the fact that it is neutral over that time period. And again, any savings is always beneficial into future periods. Obviously, we have to use funds to make that happen. But again, we looked at it from a saving money in the future, safety, and then a better product and outcome for everyone using that field.
The punt returner can't say he lost it in the lights there.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I don't know. Dr. Vincent Ondeco might have something to say. about
Yeah.
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve the stadium lights replacement as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Made by Lloyd, second by Brad. Any questions?
I'm just wondering why we're doing this now since we can't even balance our budget.
Sure. So it's a good question. So what we looked at is, again, we're looking at this from a savings perspective going into the future. And then the funds that we're using for this are really part of that bond. And so when we looked at pricing that bond out, the cost to do that as part of a bond issue was a lot less expensive than trying to take that out as a normal budget. And so, for us to put this in the full budget next year, that would have been theoretically $176,000. Whereas the bond payment, which covers all the projects, including the elementary and the middle school projects, that is about $375,000. Hold me to that because we don't have the final number yet. So what we looked at that is, again, it's going to save us money into the future, but it doesn't dramatically affect what the cost is of that entire bond that we're issuing here on the previous item. It just, out of that 8.8 million, we're talking about $176,000 of that, which is a very small piece of that. So we're basically spreading that cost out over the life of that bond, which is about 9 years. If I could say, that's probably a better way to state it, actually. We're spreading that cost over 9 years versus 1 year.
We're funding it as a long-term capital project,
Right.
not as a one-time maintenance fee.
Correct.
So
Yep.
it's
And then
that-
over time, we'll save that electricity and save the revolving to kind of offset that a little bit.
And anybody that's objected price per kilowatt knows it's not gone down.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that I think when we looked at these lighting projects years ago, the pricing was probably even higher. I think it just shows that it's probably become more competitive in this field overall. But the pricing has not seemed to increase in terms of the LED lighting. It seems to actually have decreased just a little bit.
The LED lights are getting cheaper every day.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, some of you asbestos mitigation program, Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. So this was an item we knew that we had to complete, but we were waiting for board approval for the elementary projects themselves to move forward. So this was an item we actually looked at doing last year, but we put it on hold pending approval of all the projects. It's really just a cross haul and some ceiling heaters we wanted to go ahead and take care of at the same time. But what that does is allows them then to go ahead and address the elevator and the ramps and things of that nature in the building. So it's a pretty small project, $12,874. We received 2 bids. Believe it or not, the other bid, I feel sorry for them, it was $16 more than this one. So I've never seen one that close, but anyway, I feel sorry for them. But the work itself will be completed on the last school day. Sorry, the date, that's not the last school day. It's the day after the last school day now, the 29th. They'll start that work probably in the late afternoon that day. So again, students and faculty employees will not be in the building, and then they'll have it finished so that they can start that Monday or Tuesday to do the actual work for Summit View's capital project.
Can I have a motion to approve Baxter Environmental Group to complete asbestos mitigation project?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion made by Lloyd, second by Linda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. First reading of policies, Mr. Pence.
Good. The first one, name and classification 001. This has to do with what we talked about earlier about the name and classification of our district. Going from 3rd class to 2nd class. 3rd class is a population of 5,000 to 30,000 in your district, and we're at what, 33 or
Yes, sir.
plus? So changes our classification, and I guess changes the way how we do business a little bit. Or as positions and things like that. Second one, meeting 006. We added Franklin County into that. There wasn't really too much else to add. That policy addresses board meetings. And then the wellness policy 246. We did some changes to the recommended foods. Added, I think eggs, meats, and took out grains. as a recommended food. Got fruits and vegetables on there. And then the physical activity, we improved the language on the recess to give more flexibility to the elementary teachers when they have recess. It was a little more structured, whether they would have 2 15 minutes or 1 30-minute. And this kind of gives some flexibility for the schools to decide what works best for them, as long as they have a total of 30 minutes. And then under the physical education, we added some language that says in accordance with state guidelines. That's it.
You. Moving on to financial business. Number 1, purchase orders and bills for payment. Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. So we have board bills payable here for the general fund, food service fund. We do have a board summary report that gives you just kind of a update as to where we're at with expenses and revenues. And then we also have the requisitions on here as well.
Can I have a motion to approve purchase orders and bills for payment?
So moved.
Second.
By Lloyd, second by Kim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report, Dr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Just the standard treasurer's report for you.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report for March of 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Shane, second by Lloyd. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
JP Harris exonerations.
Yes, ma'am. So these are exonerations of old occupation and per capita tax. There's only a couple there. And again, what they do is they go kind of municipality by municipality. That's why you only see Quincy on this round. But at another point in time in the past, you might see just the borough of Waynesboro or something along those lines. But just kind of how JP Harris does their work. So these are folks that have met the requirements to be exonerated for these very old bills, as you can tell. But we're going back 16
Going
years.
back quite a ways. 2010 and
there's-
2011.
Yeah, we don't collect too much anymore on the old delinquent taxes.
We've abandoned these taxes, haven't we?
We have, for new taxes, we've not issued per capita since maybe 2016, 2017, and occupation since maybe 20 or 21 off the top of my head. So we don't issue those anymore. They were, per capita was a $15 tax, $10 of which we received. The municipality received $5. So it costs a lot of money to process a $10 bill on our behalf.
Yeah.
It certainly
That's why we dropped that. I figured it almost cost as much to collect.
it was pretty much in that ballpark. And then occupation taxes, the range is 15 to 135, but I think if I remember correctly, it's something like 85% of our employed individuals in the school district were $15 or $30. So again, it's very similar to the per capita tax. We were
And it
spending
made
a lot of
everybody
time and
mad.
money. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
one
was
of
a
the
hated tax.
one of the disappointing parts was that, sometimes especially if you were new to the area, I think we looked at data, about 1/3 of them went delinquent. And then what happened was, of course, we go back after them with delinquency. So now they're paying $30 on a $15 bill, and that money's just leaving the community. It's going somewhere else for that delinquency. So at least this way, they don't have that problem or that issue anymore.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the JP Harris exonerations?
So
Second.
All right, motion made by Lloyd, second by Shane. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Right. Clayton cabinet comments.
I have a couple things.
Okay.
So when I sent my last Friday message, last Friday, I shared the calendar of events, and with the last month of school comes a lot of special things in all of our buildings. So please make sure to check that out so you can mark your calendars and then refer to information from your child's principal for more details. Our board reps mentioned that AP testing gets started next week, and the week after that, we start Keystone exams. So any student who's currently taking Algebra 1, Biology, or Literature will sit for those. And my message on Friday also included a survey regarding cell phone use. That's kind of in response to information put out at the state level. And we already have 175 responses. So if you have not already done so, I don't believe I included a due date, but if people could respond by next 2 Fridays from now, which is May 8th, that would be helpful. So thank you.
Yeah.
Rachel, I'm not Clayton Cabinet, but can I say something quick? Just regarding the vacancy for school board. So the links don't work. Unfortunately, I apologize for that. I'm not sure why. If you, and honestly, it could be because we've had the links linked to board docs, and board docs has been really wonky in the last 2 days. So if you are eager and want to seek out the information quicker than I get it fixed on the web, you can go to policy 004 in the policies under board docs, and both of those documents are in that location.
Do have one quick one, just kind of like a reminder for the community, the property tax rent rebate program, applications are due by June 30th. So this is for senior citizens who are 65 and older. I think it's widows and widowers, 50 and over, and anyone disabled. But if you not only own a home, but rent, they have certain income levels and things of that nature that you have to meet, but you could receive anywhere from $380 to $1,000 as a rebate for your property taxes. So take advantage of that. It's available every year. The numbers have increased. I think the maximum amount you can now have is, I think it's around $48,000. I can't find it on here, but just doing that from memory. And so that's not bad to get $380 back on your taxes at least.
I do that for my mother-in-law every
Yeah.
year. She got $600 or $700 back.
There you go. So certainly if you have any friends who meet that criteria, please encourage them to fill out the application. We look at the numbers, we can see the numbers for the entire school district, and it's pretty significant. It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars every year that people apply for. So take advantage of it.
Due date, I'm sorry.
June 30th.
Just want to thank the board for their support for Waynesboro assuming the responsibility of pre-K. I know Dr. Vincent Ondeco has a letter to launch effective immediately to the current pre-K families, giving them additional information and then also offering opportunities to answer questions. And I will continue to keep the board updated on the hiring. Thank you. Any board member comments?
I'd like to thank the community for coming out and voicing your opinions, whatever they may be. It's just nice to see the community being involved in what we do.
Anybody else? I have a comment.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Rachel, thanks so much for providing a statement on behalf of the board. I truly appreciate it. The time and effort you put forward on your behalf. Good evening for those of you who have not attended. I've honestly thought long and hard about for the past 48 hours if I should provide my opinions and reflections, but I think some of these things are needed to be said or heard from someone sitting on this board. For those of you who don't know me or are attending for the first time, welcome, and thank you for sitting through this long, important meeting. Thank you for all those who continue to attend. My name is Lindsay Weaver, and I'm a proud graduate of WASH's class of 2011. I have children currently in this district and those who will attend in the future. This district is not abstract to me. It's personal. Side note, the paintings at the high school, I did those. Anyway, I've said this before and I will continue to say it. Transparency is not optional. Accountability and trust is essential. And right now we are at a pivotal moment for this district and board to be To be clear, I did not act on the motion that came before this board in late November, but I am on this board now, and that means this is my responsibility too, and I will not step back from that. I want to make something crystal clear to the public and my fellow board members that we are not sitting in these seats to go along with decisions. We are here to uphold standards. A school director, as defined by the Pennsylvania School Board Association, sets the vision, goals, and policies for the district, approves curriculum, and levies taxes. We are responsible for hiring and evaluating superintendent, not managing day-to-day operations, but absolutely responsible for oversight and accountability. I understand that evaluation was conducted by the previous board in October of 2025 for our superintendent. I look forward to late 2026 when I have the opportunity to participate in that process myself, because to me, accountability does not expire with time or turnover. I want to define another word, a mistake. A mistake is something that is not correct, a wrong action, or a statement resulting from faulty judgment, inadequate knowledge, or intention. In my 33 years, when I make a decision in my role as a professional leader, I correct it the moment I become aware of it. I take responsibility, even if it hurts, and I apologize. That is what accountability looks like, which brings me to where we are today. Yes, we've all heard Rachel provide some clarification and communication between parties. And that may resolve things for some, but it does not resolve things for this board. And it does not resolve things for the community. For 5 months, the district has endured over 20 hours of hearings, 8 hours of deliberations, and more than probably 100 public comments. People show up, they spoke, and they trusted that this board would not just listen, but act with integrity. So I'll be direct. I'm disgusted by the lack of thorough investigation presented to this board from our administration, including to me as a new sitting board member of this team of 9, which is now an 8. I am disappointed on how our administrators conducted themselves publicly during these hearings, and our past board members allowed this to be passed down without resolution. I am appalled by the example this sets for their teachers, our staff, and most importantly, our students. In my opinion, there are failures in this process. In judgment and in oversight, those failures still belong to us as a board. Accountability does not disappear because a situation becomes uncomfortable. It does not go away because a resolution was talked about behind closed doors. And I did not sit through these hearings, deliberation, or become a board member to just walk away without answers on accountability from all parties involved, and neither should this board. So I'm calling on this board publicly to commit a full and transparent review of how this situation was handled, not to protect reputations, but to restore trust, not to assign blame for the sake of it, but to ensure that what happened here does not happen again. Because if we fail to do that, we are telling our current employees, future employees, community, and anyone else that's paying close attention to this process, it doesn't matter, that their voices don't matter, that their accountability is negotiable. We owe this district better, and we are still responsible for delivering it. Thank you.
All right, I just have one quick comment. This past week I was forwarded an anonymous post from someone that I had gone to school with some allegations and concerns, and I'm asking that the individual that posted this please forward the information to me. If you do not want to send it to me in an email, you're more than welcome to mail it to my home address, which is actually listed on on the school website, and I will be happy to take that further, but I would need that information from you if you're willing to share it with me. So thank you.
Rachel, may I ask a quick question? There's been concern online that the email addresses have been changed from email addresses to form links, and that those emails are going through IT, and that they can be monitored by the administration here and then, when you fill out a form on a website, you don't have a copy of it. It just sort of goes into oblivion, and then maybe they get it and maybe they don't. So I'm just wondering if
I don't think as board members ours are that way. Ours are listed as our.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Board members are the only ones that are listed.
Yeah.
Everybody else are forms. So
Okay.
it's been a concern online, and I thought that was an opportune moment to
Okay.
mention it.
Perfect. Thank you for letting us know. All right. Any other board member comments? Okay. Can I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Don't move.
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Were we going to executive
Motion carried.
session?